If I may, I'll start with a personal apology to my constituents on this VE Day. While I can't stand there in person amongst those marking our victory and remembrance in Hinckley and Bosworth and North West Leicestershire, I carry out the very duty they gave their lives to protect. The sacrifice of those who fought in World War II ensures the work of this Parliament and the democracy itself endures. Their courage lives in every free debate, every vote cast, and every moment we serve the public good. This should never be forgotten nor taken for granted. It's therefore with this I'm privileged to respond to His Majesty's opposition to such an important topic that resonates with so many, brain tumours. And I'd like to pay tribute to the member for Mitcham and Morden and the member for Witney to bringing it forward to raise this debate. And I was also pleased to hear this important issue was raised only yesterday in Prime Minister's questions by the Honourable Member for the Forest of Dean, talking about his constituents' remarkable and inspirational story about overcoming glioblastoma. Now, while the Prime Minister did not respond with details about brain tumours specifically, these are important opportunities to raise and debate this topic while telling the human stories, and I look forward to hearing from the Minister today. Now, one such story is an example from my own constituency in Hinckley and Bosworth, involving Catherine and Simon Tanzi and their daughter, Isla. I've told the story in this house in years past, but it's so poignant, I'm not shy in telling it again. We can choose to be affected by the world, or we can choose to affect the world. And my constituent, Isla, chose the latter. In August 2017, 7-year-old Isa Tanzi woke up unable to walk. After many horrible treatments, surgeries and radiotherapy, in January 2018, she was diagnosed with DIPG, diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma. Isla's mum described the terminal illness as the most traumatic and heartbreaking experience for a family to ever go through. Sadly, Isla passed away in July 2018, but not before inspiring thousands around the world with her positivity and creativity through her hobby, painting stones and pebbles. Isla asked others to join in painting their own stones with any design, but she asked them to include the hashtag #IslaStones and the words photo, post, rehide, and then send pictures to a dedicated Facebook for her to see. They were then to subsequently leave the stones somewhere hidden so that when they were found, they could spread a little bit of joy that Isla had given them. Now, Isla's mother, Catherine, hoped that one day a child might find the stones, learn about Isla's story, and become a researcher in childhood cancer. Thousands of people took part. More than 149 countries were involved. Although Isla could no longer walk, she loved to see where all the stones ended up and where they would travel next. This included the Taj Mahal, New Zealand, Disneyland, America, and one in Antarctica. Through the stones and the people who made them, hid them, and posted them, Isla travelled the world. The hashtag #IslaStones grew to a community of over 65,000 members from all across the world, and in 2019, a year on from Isla's passing, at the Celebration of Smiles event in Hinckley, a world record was set for the largest display of painted stones, 8,542, all in remembrance of Isla. Off the back of that, Simon and Catherine set up #IslaStones Foundation to raise research grants, awareness and smiles to help fight childhood cancer. So much so that they were awarded the Point of Light Award from the then Prime Minister in 2023. Well, why does this matter? Because we all hear the statistics in this debate, but these are the real stories behind the cases. And our constituents all rightly ask for the real understanding, for listening, and something to change. I'm reminded of the quote, "Your life is a message to the world. Make sure it's inspiring." And Isla's message truly was. I hope the government's message on cancer and brain tumours will be the same. So turning to the substance of the debate, Madam Deputy Speaker, it's clear today that members are asking for greater priority to accelerating research and treatments into brain tumours. The motion partly focused on the £40 million funding provided by the last government for research into brain tumours, and I do understand the frustration of MPs across the House about the speed of allocations to projects since 2018. At this point, I must pay tribute to the Tessa Drow Brain Cancer Mission for their work and the NIHR to make this progress. And this collaboration has led to the NIHR issuing funding calls for researchers to evaluate treatments for brain tumours and expanding the network for trials for brain tumours, including the National Brain Tumour Consortium. And looking over the debates, I noticed that the Minister speaking in the Rare Cancers Bill said the following, and I quote, "In the 5 years since 2018-19, the NIHR has invested $11.3 million directly in brain cancer, with a further $31.5 million to enable brain tumour research in 227 studies involving 8,500 people. The commitment remains in place. I can confirm that there is no upper limit on that funding, and we're exploring additional research policy options to encourage more clinical trials in early phase research and development of medical devices and diagnostics." This is, of course, encouraging, but campaigners want to see projects up and running as soon as possible. So to that end, would the Minister consider the calls from brain tumour research to create a set of dedicated funding streams for early career researchers, improved access to clinical trials, and better integration of brain tumours in cutting-edge cancer initiatives, especially given the proposed abolition of NHS England? It's that deep desire to get research moving of potential new treatments that led us to the Rare Cancer Bill proposed by the Honourable Member for Edinburgh South West. Now, my honourable friend, the Shadow Secretary of State, was pleased to support the legislation when it was introduced in March. I was also glad to note that the bill received government support and then was endorsed by the brain tumour charity, Brain Tumour Research, and other patient groups. I welcome the bill's intention to encourage industry to concentrate more research into treatments for rare and less common cancers, including brain tumours, particularly, though, the review of the orphan drug regulations. However, it is vital there's an alignment with the National Cancer Plan, which is likely to set the direction of cancer policies for the next 5 to 10 years. So can the Minister confirm whether these key measures in this bill will be included in the upcoming National Cancer Plan? As well as accelerating research into brain tumours, we must take a step to increase participation amongst those personally affected. One of the aims of the Rare Cancers Bill is to get more patients into clinical trials for rare cancers, including brain tumours. It's sobering that the Brain Tumour Charity survey found that only 12% of respondents have participated in a clinical trial. We also know from the Institute of Cancer Research that brain tumour clinical trials have the lowest recruitment of any cancer type. This is why the last government asked Lord Shaughnessy to review the barriers to commercial clinical trades in the aftermath of the COVID pandemic. Now, I know the government has stated it's committed to implementing the recommendations of the O'Shaughnessy review, but can the Minister provide further details on what progress is being made to date? And on a side but related note, I met one of my constituents at a VE Day celebration in Donisthorpe, and she raised the issue of the acquired brain injury strategy. Now, this is a cross-party initiative and championed by the Minister on her side, the member for Rhondda and Ogmore. And somewhat fortuitously, I was able to tell my constituents that I was taking part in a debate on brain tumours today. She and the likes of Headway and the Brain Injury Trust are keen to ensure that they are able to support people through the changes her government is pushing through on PIP and disability support. So would the government consider reviewing or updating the acquired brain injury strategy in light of these changes? Finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, I want to end on a positive note. There's been discussions with the MHRA and Northwest Biotherapeutics, providing hope that people living with new or recurrent glioblastoma may have access to a new treatment, DC-VAX-L, that could make a real difference in prolonging their survival from this terrible disease. It's important that we build on these developments and take steps to reduce barriers to research in brain tumours and access to new treatments as they develop. After all, one brain tumour survivor said, "Hope is the anchor that keeps me steady through the storm of my diagnosis." So I hope today this very debate brings hope to those suffering and their families and demonstrates the government is listening and working for better outcomes.